Hi Bella. So let's take a look at this new writing assignment you have completed for us. Let's get straight into it. The first one is the task one. It's the bar chart with Intel and AMD sales. Just for further reference, when you do a task one, it's really very helpful if you can include the image in your email or in the document you send. This way I can refer to it as necessary. Okay? All right, let's see. I pretty much know this one by heart though, so I should be okay. Let's get into it then. The bar chart, we call it a bar chart. We call it a pie chart, a line graph. But when it's a bar, we usually call it a chart. So the bar chart gives information about the sales of Intel and AMD in France in 2017. It is clear that the trend for both chip manufacturers fluctuated throughout the period. However, Intel outraced AMD sales at the end of the year. All right, that's fine. I'm not really crazy about this word outraced. You could have said Intel outsold AMD throughout the year, okay? Because when you look at their figures in total, it does look like Intel has a little advantage over AMD. So that would have been a nice way to say it, that Intel outsold AMD throughout the year. Intel's sales started at 50,000 in January, being higher than AMD's apostrophe S by over a half. Okay, it's a little awkward the way you've expressed this. Instead, why don't we say it a little differently? Intel sales started at 50,000 in January, comma, double those of AMD. Okay, that's a better, more fluent way to say this. Sales continued with a D, because remember it's all in the past now, continued to rise steadily to reach 97,000 in March. However, April saw a sharp decline in sales where they dropped to a low of 30,000 but quickly grew with an E back to where they reached their peak in June. Fluctuations continued until they reached 102,000 sold units at the end of the period. Okay. So here's what's happening. First of all, please capitalize your months, okay? We always capitalize months. January, March, June, all should be capitalized. Secondly, try to be consistent with your tenses. Now, all of this is occurring in the past, so it's really important that you use past tenses. You said here, fluctuated, outraced, even though it should have been outsold, started, and then all of a sudden you start flipping tenses, and then you use present tense. So try to avoid this, okay? It's important to be consistent. Now, also, sales are plural. So all of a sudden you start using it, and then it doesn't make sense what that it refers to. So be careful. It should have been where they dropped to a low. The sales dropped. Okay. And then here, you were really very specific for the first half of the year. You gave me 1, 2, 3, 4 months in that first 6 months of the year. And then in the second half of the year, you gave me nothing except for that last figure there. Now, on the one hand, I'm very happy that you gave me the beginning and you gave me the end. Now, that's really important because it's kind of like a story. So you have to at least know where the story begins and where it ends. So you did that. But I kind of would have liked to know maybe just one more piece of information about what happened in that second half of the year, okay? Because you just kind of, went through it really fast. Okay, on the other hand, AMD sold around 25,000 at the start of the year. Then sales quadrupled in February. However, the figure showed a significant decrease, no D. In the next 4 months, they hit a low point of 0 sales in June, capital. While Intel made the highest sales during this month. All right, don't even, I think you already said that, so it's a little repetitive, no? The figure fluctuated erratically in the next few months until it finally reached, now here the it is okay because it's a figure. The figure fluctuated erratically in the next few months until it finally reached approximately 35,000 units sold at the end of the year. All right, it's fine, no problems, except again, it's a little underdeveloped. Like you went into some detail about the first half of the year, and the second half you just, really just brushed over it very casually. I think you could have said one more piece of information. There must have been something in that second half of the year that was noteworthy, that was worth mentioning in some way. All right? Other than that, it was good. I like this second paragraph. Grammatically, it was all good, so no problems there. Okay? Nice work in all, but like I said, just I like the way you divided it in half like that. That was really good. But again, um, try to develop the second half of the year a little more. Let's go to your task 2 now. This is the one about local food and if it's better for the economy and environment if we eat local food only. Let's see what you said. Okay, many people believe that eating food grown locally would be better for the environment and economy. While I agree that it would be beneficial, comma, not period here, I believe that food production is a culprit for serious problems in the air and how international trade can raise national income. All right, interesting. There is ample evidence that locally grown foods can reduce air pollution by eliminating the transport system. However, some argue that the production methods emit more greenhouse gases than during transportation. Okay, I would say that we should consider the energy cost and processing of food. This is because production of food accounts for major emissions such as nitrous oxides and methane used in farming, which are detrimental to the environment. For example, an extensive study made by the UK government examined the greenhouse gas emission made by transportation. Okay, let me try it again. For example, an extensive study made by the UK government determined that the greenhouse gas emission made by transportation accounts for 15% as compared to production where it contributed 75%. Therefore, the impact of food production on the environment depends as not only on the distance but more importantly how it is made. All right, that's an interesting point. Okay. There is also benefit to the society as a whole when people choose, COOS, because you want E, because you want present tense here, when people choose to spend money on locally grown foods because it builds the local economy. Although I concede that it keeps the profits rolling, a better option, you don't need to capitalize your A here, a better option is a balance between international trade and local food supply. Doing these can ensure food security and raise countries' IES income even more. For example, recent empirical research by the Philippine University, capital U, showed that 50% of food came from abroad while Philippines exports in return. What does that mean? Okay, I think I get it, but it's a little awkward. This move can ensure all food products will be available in the country and allow the economy to flourish. Consequently, local food supply and trade are effective in raising the country's income and assure food supply all year round. All right, that's nice. I like it. In conclusion, although locally grown foods can lessen air pollution and raise local economy, it is not particularly effective. Therefore, I believe food production should be considered as a culprit for major emissions and international trade as a combination. Let me read that again. I believe food production should be considered as a culprit for major emissions and international trade as a combination for food security and raising the national economy. That's a little awkward. What do you mean as a combination? That's awkward. I think you meant something else. On the whole, though, Bella, I really like this. You took a very interesting position on this issue. I think you probably could have said more. Because, okay, yes. I mean, it's an interesting, let me try it again. It's interesting. It was an interesting read. I like the fact that you looked at the positives and the negatives of this issue and that you were, you were kind of divided on it. So you took a very interesting stance and I liked it. The vocabulary was good. The grammar was good. There were some little mistakes, but nothing really that prevented comprehension, that prevented coherence. So it was a well done essay. I think there's a lot to say about this issue, and I think you raised some very interesting points. This is what I wanted to say earlier. So this idea here is that this can happen, but doesn't necessarily have to happen. And so that's something you could have possibly addressed here, but, in the interest of time, maybe you weren't able to. It's really a good job, though. I actually liked it a lot. So well done. See, is there anything I want to say? No, the vocabulary was good. The grammar was excellent. It's a well-executed essay, so great job. Go ahead and correct them both. Return them back to us corrected and write your next set. I'm looking forward to seeing what you have to say next time.